Hello, and today I want to talk to you about how you can become the only choice in the marketplace. If you are tuning in live, I want to ask you to take just a moment to say hello in chat and let me know you're here and we're hanging out together. I would love to see you saying hello in chat, and I've got one eye on it. I'll be checking it so I can say hello back. The reason I wanted to do this session is that I have been a business coach for 10 years now, and I have noticed something over those 10 years. And I'm not sure why, but I seem to attract really smart clients. Probably you're one of those people. So what I've noticed among my super smart clients is that they are people who have achieved big things in their careers and big things in their lives. And the reason they want to work with me is because they want to have success online. But sometimes what I see happening, unfortunately, is they start to sort of click around to see what else is out there, to see who else is solving the problem that they want to solve. And they become really disheartened. They start feeling like, there are already solutions in the marketplace. Somebody has already captured this market that I want to enter. And in some cases, they give up before they even start. And I understand how that feels. I understand how easy it is to compare yourself to the competition online. I'm going to talk about my own competition online later in this presentation. But the reason I want to talk to you today about how to sort of eliminate the competition and become the number one choice in the market is that I truly believe the market has not heard from you yet. And I want to talk to you about how we can make your offer heard in the market by infusing it with you. So what I'm going to do is switch over to my slides and we'll get started over there. So this is the core message that I want you to remember, that when you infuse your offer with your values, you can make your competition irrelevant. So I'm going to be asking a few questions as we go along in here. And there is a little delay on YouTube with me being able to see your chat answers. So I'm going to ask this question and just drop in the answer whenever you have a moment. But if you could answer it directly after I ask it, that would be best, because then I'll be able to see it. So I have a YouTube video on my channel that's been very popular, and it's all about how you can do market research, how you can sort of check out your competition. So my first question is, have you checked out your competition online yet? Have you seen your competition yet? My goal in this presentation is to help people who are just thinking about how they might package up their solution and turn it into a high value offer. And that is what I help people build. So before I go any further, actually, I want to make sure that we all understand what I mean when I say high value offer. In my world, when I talk about a high value offer, this is an offer that brings in $10,000 to $20,000 every month, which means $120,000 to $240,000 a year from this one offer. This is what I teach people to do. So if you hear me talking about a high value offer, that's what I'm talking about. So if you're thinking about building a high value offer, this is for you. Maybe you have an existing offer and you want to increase sales. If you are here in any way to sort of corner the market that you're in right now, first of all, I have to tell you, I love your ambition. And I want to welcome you to this presentation, which is the simple shortcut to become the only choice in the market. And hello, Radina. I am so glad you're here. Dina, I'm really glad that you're tuned in. Thank you. So anyone else who wants to say hello or let me know if you've checked out your competition online, drop it into chat. If you're watching the replay, you can let me know in the comments. I always respond to comments and I watch them carefully. So this is who I am. My name is Pamela Wilson. I am a 30-year business owner as of this year. I started my offline business in 1992, and I started my online business in 2010. I am an author, I'm a keynote speaker, and I am the former Executive Vice President of Educational Content for Copyblogger Media. And this is what I tell people when they ask me what I do. I coach people in mid-career to build profitable online businesses. And the big thing that I want you to remember from today's presentation is that when you infuse your offer with your values, you make the competition irrelevant. Because when your offer is uniquely yours, everything changes. It becomes easier to stand out. You're like the grapefruit in the crate full of oranges. You are easier to remember, and it's easier to sell your offer as well. I'm going to put my camera back on because I want to tell you a little story. So you may be in this position like, yes, I want to create a high value offer like this, but the market is pretty noisy out there and there are a lot of existing offers and I don't know how my offer is going to stand out. And I agree, it is busy and noisy online and there are likely established competitors who are already doing something similar to what you want to do. So in my online coaching business, there are people like Marie Forleo, who is very well known compared to me. People like Pat Flynn, who is also very well known compared to me. And I'm competing with those people. They are significantly younger than I am, by the way. And I bet that both Marie Forleo and Pat Flynn are looking at all of the online business coaches who are way younger than them, who are coming up behind them and saying, wow, these young people, they're coming up and competing with me. So I have seen this for years. The older I've gotten and the more experienced I've gotten, I've seen my competition getting younger and younger. And then at some point it kind of hit me. And then it was so obvious. I didn't know, I wondered why I hadn't thought about this earlier, but it sort of hit me that not everyone wants to be coached by someone who is dramatically younger than they are. They may actually want to be coached by somebody who has a lot of experience, real world experience, someone like me, right? So I started making those traits and the values associated with those traits a part of my brand in a very overt way. I started talking about them publicly. The fact that I'm older, that I'm pragmatic. I'm sort of known for being very pragmatic, very straightforward. And I started making those things really obvious and really associating them with who I am and how I show up online. So part of that is what I'm doing right now, which is showing up on video more often, wrinkles and all. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have a welcome video right now that says, "Welcome to the People with Wrinkles channel." Oh, the Pamela Wilson channel. So, I make it super overt. It's like, this is who I am. This is part of my personal values, and I'm going to make sure I talk about them everywhere. And yes, it's not always 100% comfortable, just to be, straightforward and honest about it. It's not always comfortable. I have people who are like 20 years younger than me who say things to me like, "So what is it like for people in your age group?" Like I'm some, strange demographic that they can't relate to. And then I also have people say, "You're one of the online business originals," which I'm pretty sure is a euphemism for you're one of the older people who are doing this online. So you just have to let that stuff slide off you. The end result of embracing these values and being very public about them is that my market understands who I am and they understand that I am for them, because I say over and over, I coach people in mid-career to build profitable online businesses, and they get it. They get that. People in mid-career know that I'm the person that can help them build a profitable offer. And that is how, when you clearly express your values, that's the impact that it can have. It will draw people to you who want to specifically work with you. So I'm going to go back to my slides. Let's look at them for another minute. And this is kind of a goofy question, but this is my next question. Do you go to a specific person to get your hair cut? And I know this is kind of a strange question in the middle of a business presentation, but I just want you to think about it. Do you go to a specific person to get your hair cut? Here's what happens when we start researching our market. We may start to feel a little bit intimidated by what we see. We might feel like, you know what, there's too much competition out there. And my competitors are too established, and I won't have time to do the kind of marketing that I need to do so that I can really compete. They all have a head start on me. So here's why I asked this question about the hairstylist, okay? I want you to imagine the hairstylist, the person who cuts your hair, either a hairstylist, a barber, whoever it is. Imagine that person saying, there's too much competition. There are too many people out there who cut hair. So why should I enter the market? Why should I even try? Because there's so many people who already do what I do. Well, there are a lot of people who cut hair, but there are also a lot of people who need haircuts, right? My husband is not one of them. He's one of those people who can get away with not dealing with haircuts at all. But there are an awful lot of people who need that kind of help. And those of us who do see a specific person do make an appointment with that specific person because we feel like they understand what we need, and they do something when they work with us that we are willing to go back for time after time, search them out, sometimes pay more for, because they get us. They understand who we are and what we need. So that's what happens when you stand out in a very specific way. People will search you out. And the other thing, and let me go back to my slides for this so we can see this message, is that when you have a high value offer, you don't need to sell in volume. You don't need everyone to become your customer. You can really serve a smaller number of people. And I'm hoping that seems very reassuring to you. So what I did for these next couple of slides is I've got some very simple math on the next few slides. So I call it high value offer math. So let's just see what it looks like when you develop one of these higher value offers and what the math can work out like in your business. So let's say that you have a $5,000 offer and you sell only 2 of these every month, just 2. In a single year, you can bring in more than 6 figures with that one offer. Now, let's say it's a $10,000 offer and you still sell 2 every month. That is almost $250,000 from that one offer. So hopefully you can see that you don't need to dominate an entire market to make a really great living with a high value offer. Just like your hairdresser or your barber doesn't wake up thinking, I need to dominate the hair cutting market. They just want to have a group of clients who are devoted to them and who know their value, and search them out. Here's another question, and I'm pretty sure you know this, but just checking in to be sure. Have you heard of imposter syndrome, this concept of an imposter syndrome? This can come up sometimes when you are looking at your market and you start to feel like, who am I to try to enter this market? Who am I to get in there and put my offer in front of people? You may almost feel like you haven't earned the right to deliver the solution that you have in mind. And the solution for this, what you need to do if you're sort of sensing this, is to build your offer really carefully. And again, it goes back to infusing it with your values, because that is going to give you confidence that your solution is different and your solution is better. So how can you create a new offer that's uniquely yours, especially after you see what's already in the market? What are you going to do to make your offer stand out? Well, here's a story. So I used to have a service-based business. That offline business that I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation was a design and marketing studio. And I designed publications all across the US. And one of my biggest clients was a whiskey magazine called Malt Advocate. It's now known as Whiskey Advocate, but at the time that I was designing it, it was called Malt Advocate. And one of my personal values in my design and marketing agency was personal contact with me. I didn't have a sales team. I didn't have an account executive. My clients spoke with me directly, the person who was in charge of getting the work produced. Sometimes I wasn't necessarily doing it, but I was project managing the team that was doing it. When they had contact with my business, it was with me. And the publishers of this Malt Advocate magazine at the time were a husband and wife team with a company that had like 2 or 3 employees. And they did not want their marketing to be handled by a huge agency with all of these layers of people they had to get through. They wanted to be able to speak with a person who was in charge of doing the creative work and setting the strategy for their business and sort of overseeing the implementation. So I made sure when I promoted my work in those days to put this value front and center. I actually called myself the unagency. I said my company is the unagency because it's the opposite of an impersonal agency. You are dealing with me. And I got that client. They were a huge client for me at the time. And I got them partially because they knew that this was my value. So let's start identifying your values. And I'm going to show you a slide. And if you're watching this either live or in the replay, I would actually recommend you get ready to screenshot this slide because there are a bunch of words on this. The idea is I want you to start thinking about how you can express your values through the offer that you put out into the world. And I have some words here, not all of them. I actually have a slightly longer list, but I want you to screenshot this because these words can just get the gears turning in your brain about the kinds of values that you might want to choose to make apparent in your offer. And I'm going to show you lots of examples coming up. So I'm going to take this from an abstract exercise to a very tangible exercise so you know exactly how to apply this. But the big thing that I am hoping that you take away from this section is you are you are wonderful, and I want to help you tap into what makes you special and you unique so that we can use that to help your offer stand out. All right. I'm hoping you have this slide, and if not, you can catch this slide on the replay. Here's another question. I wonder if you sell a product or service online now. So if you do, this next section is kind of for you. You may be feeling like, I had this dream of how much revenue I was going to generate, but I am not generating the revenue that I was hoping for, that I wanted to generate. And there is a possibility here that you may have skipped a step in the offer development process. And it's the specific step I'm talking about today. There are, of course, lots of other steps, but the step we're talking about today is values. And it's not just knowing what your values are, it's connecting those values with your market's unique needs. So let's see what it looks like to connect your values with your market's unique needs. Because when you do this, this is a great way to make your offer stand out. So I have an example I want to talk to you about, and then I've got even more examples coming up, but I'm coming on camera for this part. So one of my Offer Accelerator members is writing a book about the topic of creativity, this is not an original topic. I actually checked on Amazon. Amazon lists more than 60,000 books on the topic of creativity right now. So you might hear that and think, well, writing a book on the topic of creativity is a really bad idea because there are 60,000 competitors that are already in the market. But of those 60,000 books on creativity, how many do you think have been written by an Israeli trapeze artist? I don't think that many. So this is part of how this client is infusing her values into her book about creativity and then the workshops on creativity that she is going to be developing based on the concepts in the book. She has very specific stories of inspiration and despair and everything in between. And these stories are very specific to her. And they are going to make her teaching on creativity completely unique. They won't be able to be mixed up with anyone else's teachings on creativity. And this is what you can do as well. You can infuse your offer with your personal values so that it stands out like no one else's. So let's go back to slides and take another look at that. When you connect your values with your market's needs, they become this really powerful way to communicate the value of your offer. So to see this in action, because I always think it's best to see examples, I have 2 different offer examples and 6 different sets of values. So in the first example, we have a corporate leadership course. Let's say we have someone who's developing a corporate leadership course. This is a course for people who are at the leadership level in a corporate environment. It's a course developed especially for them. And this course creator is going to create a course and infuse that course offer with the values of security and reputation. So if they have identified that security and reputation are the values that they want to include in this offer, then that is going to impact the kind of people they attract and the way that they create this offer. So for example, a corporate leadership course that's focused on security and reputation, maybe talking about job security. It may be talking about recognizing that their actions within the corporation, within the company, are recognized publicly. Maybe you'll have special lessons about these topics that really give it this value of security and reputation and help you to attract people who are really interested in job security and their reputation within the business. Let's look at another example. Let's say that the values are kindness and authority. Well, someone with the values of kindness and authority who is creating a course about corporate leadership is going to be focused on helping people to connect with their team members or to show up as a true leader within their company. They'll be focusing on that, and they will try to attract people to their course who are really interested in those values. So again, you see how your personal values will connect with your market's needs. One more example about our corporate leadership course. Let's say that your values are contribution and service. You value contribution, you value service. So this course, this corporate leadership course, might focus on leaving a legacy in the business or becoming a servant leader who nurtures people on the team. So you can see how they are all corporate leadership courses, but they have different angles depending on the values that they want represented in the offer, and they attract a different group of people as well. Same offer, completely different end result. Here's another example. Let's say you have a service business and you do branding and messaging, marketing messaging. there's somebody in the Offer Accelerator right now. I always pull examples from my current members. So there's someone in the program right now who offers branding and messaging at a very high level. So let's say that she values boldness and fun. These are the two values she wants to represent. Well, people will come to her if they want really memorable branding that really pops and is different and fun and stands out because it is bold and fun. Let's say that she values justice and leadership. Well, she might specialize in branding for groups that are making a difference with social justice issues, societal reform, maybe even politics. If her values are justice and leadership and she has a service that is branding and messaging, then her branding and messaging service is going to attract specific people as long as she is overt about those values. One more example. Let's say that she has a branding and messaging service and she values spirituality and honesty. Well, maybe her service is going to focus on helping clients whose business has a spiritual or religious background, or maybe she's focusing on helping businesses become more transparent in their messaging. You can see how tapping into your values and infusing your offer with those values can really make your competition irrelevant, because where else can people find your solution that you have infused with your values but with you? These values can infuse everything that you do, not just your offer, but also your offer marketing, the way you show up online, the groups that you market to. Let's say you do a presentation for another group. You're going to choose that group based on the values that are important to you. And the end result is that your customers want you, the person who embodies all of those values that are represented in the offer. Now, you may have tried to create an online product or service, but if you haven't done it in this way, that may be why you haven't gotten the results you wanted. Now, I have to tell you that helping people tap into these values as they build their offers is a really big part of what happens in my Offer Accelerator program. This is a program that's designed to help mid-career online business owners create a high-value offer that generates $10,000 to $20,000 every month. You master a repeatable process for creating and marketing online offers. You get tools that you can use to generate unlimited offers in the future. And the reason I'm talking about this today is because we enroll a new cohort of clients every month. And the next step is actually no cost to you. The next step is complimentary, and it has a value of $250. It is a strategy coaching session with my strategy coach, Colin Yearwood. I open up a handful of these sessions after each of my live trainings, which tend to happen toward the end of the month. And Colin has some spots on his schedule now. So the way you can find a spot is to go to PamelaWilson.com/watch. Now, you may be watching on that page right now. And if you're on the page, just scroll down to the light green section at the bottom, and you'll see this nice calendar where you can just choose. You can grab a date and a time that work for you. You get first choice if you're already on the page. The great thing about Colin's conversations is they're designed to help you figure out what business stage you're in and what you need right now so that you can grow faster. Colin is one of the most low-key people I have ever met. He's incredibly laid back, super smart, and I'm so thrilled to be able to share his expertise with my audience. But of course, it is a little bit limited. So if you're interested at all, I hope that you'll take a moment and book a session with him. And again, that's PamelaWilson.com/watch. If you're interested in the Offer Accelerator and after talking to Colin, it seems like the program is going to be able to help you, then he can tell you about it and you can get all the details about joining. You could be in the next cohort that I work with. That would be really great. So if you have any questions about the program, you can ask him. If you have any questions about where you are in your online business right now, he's a great person to ask as well. So I'm seeing some awesome feedback. Thank you so much to everyone who's been here live. If you have any questions, you have just a few seconds to drop in a question at this point. But the comments below these replay videos are always open on YouTube. So if you watch this and you get to the end and you're not sure about something I talked about, just drop into the comments. I am obsessed with answering comments. So if you leave me a comment, I will answer. I might write you a multi-paragraph answer, but I am super happy to help you in comments. So drop into comments. Let me know about any question you may have. And I want to thank you so much for being here, either live or joining me in the replay video. I so appreciate your attention and your time. And I wish you all the best. I can't wait, and I hope I get a chance to work with you soon. Take care.